All right, welcome in, everybody. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. It's time for Total Bases. Tokyo Brandon's back in standard attire that we know and love. Bryan Leonard is here, and we've got a great slate of 15 MLB games. As always, we're going to pick ones out of the chat. We're going to try to get to as many as possible. We're going to try to hit a 3-team parlay. Our parlay fell short yesterday, but we are still threatening the high watermark of these parlays for the year. I believe up $17.10 for every dollar if you've played them, the same throughout. For every $1 up $17.10, which means if we hit a 3-teamer, I think TB, and also welcome in, our high watermark, I believe, was like $19, right? Something like that. I think TB's muted, but that's okay. Anyway, we're trying to cash a 3-teamer for you. So stay with us till the end of the show where we will have that locked in. We're getting right into it. I said this would probably be the feature game all week long. I think it's probably the best matchup, and it's really been an entertaining series thus far. We forecasted runs last night. There was runs in last night's game. Now we've got some interesting things going on with the pitching. So right over to Bryan Leonard, Padres, Dodgers. I believe the whole country is getting this one on MLB Network at 10 p.m. How are you seeing this matchup?
Yeah, current line, Dodgers and Padres. Kolek against Sheehan. Sheehan's roughly about a 174 favorite right now, 9.5. Which is a high number for Dodgers games. But you can understand that with the two starters going. Sheehan's a guy that they've liked for a long time, and I'm sure you'll give us a little bit more on him. But he's finally getting back for his first start. Obviously, they've had some problems with healthy pitchers all year long, and that's the problem you're going to have. It happens in Major League Baseball. I mean, the Seattle Mariners are finally back to the point now where they're getting some of their starters back, so they should go on a run. But this should be a really good game if you like offense. Kolek, 3.5 ERA, 3.80 expected, 1.32 WHIP. His career WHIP is 1.42, so that's always been a problem for him. He does have a 95% barrel rate. Ground ball rate, 89%. That's usually a very good combination, but he's not a guy who strikes out a lot. 17.3 compared to his 9.1 walk rate gives him a 8.2. Not the kind of numbers we look to bet on. Average exit velocity, 9th percentile. Whiff percent, 13th. Strikeout percent, 16th. Hard hit, 6th. So his hard hit rate is the 6th percentile, yet his barrel rate is in the 95th percentile. That is something. It's going to change one way or the other. And if you're a Dodgers fan or if you like runs, you're going to be looking for that to go even higher on his hard hit rate tonight. He's going up against Sheehan, Emmett Sheehan. You don't run into too many Emmets nowadays in Major League Baseball, but he comes in with a career record 4-1, 4.92 ERA, 3.5 expected. 60 innings pitched, 64 strikeouts, slightly over 1 inning. That's what you like. He's got a nice whip, 1.19. Not bad considering he's only pitched 60 innings in the majors. That's pretty good. His ground ball percentage is only in the 9th percentile. Hard hit rate, 27th percentile. Barrel, 10th. He does walk a lot of guys, 21st percentile. He's got a 10.5 expected walk rate, in his major league career. 8.4 is league average, but he's got a good strikeout number. So his strikeout minus walk is basically 14.3. Still not exactly what you're looking for, but slightly better. Both guys giving up hard hit balls. I would expect this to be a high scoring game. And the lines maker feels the same way as he put this at 9.5, as I mentioned, as opposed to the 8.5 and 9 that we have seen. So somewhat like the over here, but unless I can get a 9 somewhere along the line, I'll probably be sitting it up.
Yeah, Kolek is kind of a mystery. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Kolek's kind of a mystery. He gave up tons of runs in a couple starts, and then he had 2 games where he gave up 0 runs, and then again he comes back and gives up a 4-burger. I just hate these pitchers who are so inconsistent. They're so up and down. Don't know what to get from them. But running my numbers now, see, this is an example of how my numbers change from day to day. Yesterday I had the Padres slightly advantageous in yesterday's matchup, but today I got the Dodgers advantageous here. I got them batting 8th out of 30 teams, where I got the Padres batting 15th. And bullpen's pretty even as far as current form is concerned. Man, the Padres started the season such a great bullpen. They were just on fire, and they've kind of hit hard times here. Both bullpens under the Mendoza line. And I got Kolek ranked 18 out of 30 on a curve at 30 out of starting pitchers. So if anything, I would take the Dodgers team total over 4.5. 4.5 is a bit high, because you're banking on a team to get 5 runs in 9 innings. And the Dodgers are at home, so they might only have 8 innings to get those 5 runs. So that's a little steep for me. You literally have to score more than 1 run every 2 innings, and counting on that and betting on that is tough. I mean, they probably will, but it's hard to put money on that. So I'll probably stay off it.
Good comment from Sean here. And this is something worth bringing up. Machado, the hit by pitch yesterday, this rivalry has picked up some real steam in the past. Man, I remember Koken talking about this picking up steam. This was probably around 2021, 2022. We'll call it the past 5 years. These two teams do not like each other. I think you get the Dodgers. The thing with the Dodgers, I still think they might be the best team in baseball. It really is. Do you get their full attention, right? If you get the Dodgers full attention and they come ready to play, I would put them up against just about any team out there. Emmett Sheehan, he's been down in Oklahoma City for a while. It's been I think they did the rehab right for him. They gave him 3 sort of starts. They've kind of used him as an opener. Went about 60 pitches in his last start for Oklahoma City. I'm guessing he's in the 60 to 65 pitch range today. If the Dodgers had better bullpen options available, I would love them here. Absolutely love them in this spot. My concern is who are the arms after Sheehan? I'm not saying that they don't have guys that I don't completely trust, but their bullpen's a little bit. I guess it depends on who you get here after Sheehan, Brian. Right? I feel like I don't ever really know what they're going to do with some of these bullpen arms, because they just kind of, I feel like it always changes for them right now. They have a bunch of these bulk guys. How I would think Sheehan gives you 2-3 pretty good innings. I'll tell you what, I don't think Steven Kolek's really an MLB guy. I think he really got off to a nice start when he got called up. Tokyo Brandon pointed out a couple of the crooked numbers he's given up recently. That's kind of what he is, in my opinion. I always thought Steven Kolek was probably more of a AAA guy. Feel like he's really thrown it well, all things considered. But this is the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. I think this lineup could tear them up if they're focused, and I think they're going to be focused here. So Dodgers are passed for me. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, you're talking about the players in the bullpen for the Dodgers tonight. I would expect Sheehan to go as a full starter today, wouldn't you? Considering in this series, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Scott's used all 3 games, so he won't be in there. Kirby Yates, Vesia has been used 2 out of the 3. Kopech 2 out of the 3. Banda 2 out of 3. So they've got, if they come in with guys, they're going to use, obviously. Sauer pitched 54 innings or 54 pitches yesterday. He won't be used. Trevino 33 pitches. So they got Robleski, excuse me. And they've got Jack Dreyer, who also pitched 34 innings. So unless they bring some guys up from the minors to pitch, they're going to be hurting in the bullpen today, which is more reason to play the over. We'll have to see as the day goes on what they do, but it would not surprise me if they made some moves before this game tonight.
Yeah, did they use Robleski yesterday? No, right?
No. He was one of the few. They didn't use Yates, Vesia, or Robleski, but Yates and Vesia, they used the 2 prior days.
So Sheehan pitch counts at AAA in his 3 starts, 39, 57, 63. I will be very, very surprised if he exceeds the 60 to 65 pitch mark today. I'm thinking they're going to do the pairing, kind of like the Blue Jays have been doing with Lauer and one other guy. I think it's going to be Sheehan for 60, and then it's going to be Robleski for 60 or until he can go. and then you're going to get the leverage arm. So which I actually don't mind, because Sheehan and Robolewski are two totally different guys. I feel like it's an interesting, like, sort of, they're going to have to prepare for two very different pitchers, in my opinion. So that's appealing for me for the Dodgers. I think that might play here.
Good point. I didn't realize Sheehan wasn't fully stretched out. Estrada is probably the only pitcher in the San Diego bullpen that will not go. He got bombed yesterday in 25 pitches. Other than him, I think everybody else should be ready.
Yeah, this feels like a Dodgers win to me. Again, there's not a ton of line value there, but if you can find a way to play it. I got to get to the chat is popping off right now about the Yankees. I'm just going to grab the first comment. There's like 10 comments. So Ethan, I know Duffel put the first comment out. Ethan followed up. The Yankees can't hit right now, averaging less than 1 run per game over their last 5. No chance I'm touching them until they start hitting. It's a good point. Yankees, ever since off air, we were kind of joking. I had that Royals plus 1.5 bet on Thursday, a game where they rested Aaron Judge ahead of that Fenway series with the Red Sox. They won the game 1-0. They have not been able to hit water if they fell out of a boat since, Bryan Leonard. What's going on with the Yankees, and can you possibly jump in with them here?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think I read this where they've scored 5 runs over their last 6 games now. I fully understand about not playing the Yankees, but I think you're getting them at a bargain here. They're going up against an Angels team who does not hit left-handers. They're third worst in baseball. The only teams worse in WRC plus against lefties are the Pirates and the Rockies. So you know what kind of level the Angels are offensively against left-handed pitchers. Yarborough's got some good numbers so far this year, and he's done exactly what they put him there for. So even though, you just talked about when the Dodgers are in a situation where they got something to play for, the Yankees got something to play for tonight. They've been embarrassed. They've been embarrassed all week, and they're going against Kuchanowicz, who is not a major league pitcher in my regard. Comes in with a 5.53 ERA, 5.11 expected, 1.59 whip. His strikeout to walk ratio is only 5.4. He's a good ground ball pitcher. 85th percentile there. Fastball velocity 74. But he is bad in all the key numbers. Expected ERA 12th. Expected batting average 13th percentile. Average exit velocity 2nd. Hard hit rate 5th. Strikeout percent 9th. Yankees could get well in a hurry against him, and that is a major concern. Also in this game, we're going against, as I mentioned earlier, Yarborough. Yarborough's got a lot of red on his page here at Baseball Savant. Comes in with a 3.96 ERA, 3.38 expected, 1.18 whip. That's his career average, basically. His strikeout to walk ratio is looking at 14.5, a little bit less than what we want, but he's really good at average exit velocity, 96th percentile, barrel rate, 91st percentile, hard hit rate, 95th percentile. He's the guy, and I said it again, and he's just one of these veterans. He's been in baseball for 8 years. He's able to keep the opposition off balance, and that's what lefties can do. And he's not going to blow you away with his fastball. He's in the first percentile of fastball velocity, so he's not going to blow him away there. And as I've said before, anybody in Major League Baseball can hit a fastball. It's your other pitches that you use. And in fact, when you take a look at his usage on the season, 24% cutter, 23% sinker, 21% change, 20th percentile sweeper, only 12% on his four seam. That's the kind of player I like. If you throw less fastballs, you're going to have better numbers. That's what he does. I think this is, you wouldn't know it by the names, but I think this is a huge pitching mismatch for as long as Yarborough's in there. It opened at 145. Now you can lay as low as 245. Now you can lay as low as 207 on the Yankees. I'm not big on laying big favorites, but you got to think there's value on the Yankees here. I understand they're not hitting, and that happens. But give me the elite teams in a must-win situation off of embarrassment. That's the kind of team I want to bet.
So yeah, like Bryan said, if you want to take the Yankees minus 200 a little steep, take a -1, knock 30 cents off the price. If you lose less. Like I did yesterday on my 5% play. I had the Giants. They were a -160. I took a -1 for -130. I lost, but I lost a lot less than if I took them on the money line. So just a lesson to be learned. I mean, we can debate this on another show, but anyways, I know you guys disagree, but I got a $5 play out or a 5% play out today in Major League Baseball. So hopefully I can cash that one and make up for the loss yesterday. So Kachanowicz used to be a chronic walker, but actually he's kind of turned it around. He used to average almost 4 walks a start. Now he's brought it down to 2.2. And the Yankees are not only walking around 3 per game. So I don't like his walks prop today. And I made quite a bit of money off his walks until his last start. He burned me and I lost that. He only walked 1 in his last start. So not a good one. So I'm off him for the walks. However, I completely agree with Bryan, almost everything he said. The Yankees are a better team. Yarborough's pitching great. Kachanowicz is not a major league pitcher. I got both bullpens ranked pretty similar here. Yankees lineup is cold. The question is, can they wake up today? Well, facing a sub-mediocre bullpen and a AAA pitcher usually is a good recipe to wake your bats up. So if you want to bet on that, that's probably the way I would go. I haven't done it yet, but I'll take a closer look at it because they're definitely the better team. There's no reason the Angels should be winning 2 in a row against the Yankees.
Yeah, it would actually be 3 in a row if they win
3 in
today.
a row. Sorry, a sweep. Yeah,
which is even crazier to think. I'll focus on Mark Hinzen's question. Can we please cover what could be causing the Yankees funk? I'll tell you exactly what I think caused this. They had that game on Thursday where they rested some regulars. It was almost like a day off. I have a feeling they kind of treated it as a day off. This was the Thursday game in Kansas City. They had already won the first 2 games of the series. They were pounding the ball. They go out and win that game 1-0. So they leave town feeling good, head to Fenway. They got into that was a great series with a really good Red Sox team. I don't think they necessarily hit poorly. Those were just well-pitched, low-scoring games that they ended up on the wrong side of, right? 2-1, 4-3, 2-0. Like those were all tightly contested, low-scoring games. Red Sox used their good bullpen arms, and the Red Sox had some good pitching out there. So again, like that's going to happen. Coming into this series, though, then it snowballs a little bit. You get Soriano's a guy that's capable. When he's on, he can be pretty good. And then you get a guy like Kyle Hendricks, who at his old age, he's not anything, he's not going to overpower anyone. He's not one of the better starters in Major League Baseball, but he's still he's probably as smart as it gets in terms of a cerebral pitcher. He knows if you're up there not having like a good approach or good at bats, he knows how to get you out because he's that smart. And that's what he did to the Yankees yesterday. That's not Kachanowicz. He is not those guys. He's gonna throw what he's got. They're gonna know what he's got coming because there's enough of a book on him at this point. I think you get to get a crooked number or 2 from the Yankees here. Guys, it is, this is a little square. Yankees to Dodgers is like plus 135. I have no issues if you want to parlay those 2. None. Yankees to Dodgers, you're going to give me plus 135 to parlay those 2. I've got no issues with it. That's, I think, how I would play. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the bullpens. Because the Angels have won the first 2 games, just about all their key relievers are either going to be pitching the 3rd day in a row if they've got a lead, or Kenley Jansen's pitched 2 out of the 3. So that's a situation the Angels rarely find themselves in because if you take a look at their record, they haven't won as many games as they've lost, as opposed to the Yankees, who, since they have not had the lead in these games late, all of their bullpen is available other than, I believe, Ian Hamilton, who threw 33 pitches yesterday. So all the key relievers for the Yankees are there. So if we can get 4 or 5 innings out of the starter, I think the Yankees are in a really good spot here. At this, you're not going to find this. If the Yankees were at their normal hitting right now, as opposed to the slump, this would be at least a $3 favorite, I would have to assume.
Yep. this might be the best value you're going to find on the Yankees at home all season. I don't know that you've had a better value spot on the Yankees on their home field where they have like an edge. The only time you're going to find quote unquote value on the Yankees is maybe when they're at a disadvantage in the starting pitching department. This should be a blowout. I might have to find a way to play the Yankees today. I also don't think that that's a bad idea to parlay the two, but this would be a scenario where depending on what that -1 costs, like, I mean, that might not be the worst angle.
You're coming around.
They're gonna. I mean, the Yankees are gonna absolutely pummel this team. Maybe you just lay the -1.5. This
is 1.5 is about -115 right now.
Yeah, that might get. We'll circle back to that. That may end up in the parlay for me. Adrian, good morning. Let's get a hot streak going. That's what we're trying to do every day. We need those likes and subscribe. So hop in, leave a comment, like, subscribe, help us run it up. Let's see. Let's jump in the chat. Let's go to. I'm going to pick a game at random here.
Texas Tampa.
Let's see. There's 15 games. I want to get one that someone is talking about. Listen, I will say this: we're not talking Tigers Pirates today. I'm going to tell you why. One, Scooble's a $3 favorite. We don't need to talk about that. Two, there's a good chance that one might get rained out. So that is the analysis for Tigers Pirates right there. Scooble's a $3 favorite. Game might get rained out. So we've got 12 other games to talk about, and I'm going to go to this one. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle Carlson. Not sure if I've seen him in the chat before, so welcome, Kyle. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate you tuning in live. Kyle wants to know, do we think the Cubs stay hot today? That exit velo yesterday was crazy with every swing of the bat. That might have just been the Brewers pitcher yesterday, but I like what I'm seeing from Chicago. How could you not? How could you not like what you're seeing from the Cubs? How could you not like what you're seeing out of Pete Crow Armstrong, who might be the MVP? I mean, just incredible. Hitting balls off the scoreboard. The Cubs are a fun team to watch. They're an elite team. They're going to be in the mix for a long time this year. Bryan Leonard, can they handle 103 tonight from the rookie? Because that's what they're probably about to get here. Looks like Mizorowski for the Brewers. Jameson Taillon for the Cubs. What do you think?
You had mentioned the rain in Detroit. There's also a lot of rain in Chicago for both those games, and there's rain in Cincinnati. Would not surprise me if any of those games got canceled or postponed, pushed back a little bit. When you're looking at the Cubs and the White Sox, rain pretty much all day, 80% chance up to game time, where we're looking at a 70% chance, 70, 69, and 57% chance rain. So we may be talking about a game that doesn't even get played today. That said, was a little surprised about Mizorowski. Comes in and pitches great. Everybody thinks this is the next Randy Johnson. And yet money's been coming in on the favorite here. And they opened it up. You could have gotten on the overnight Mizorowski at plus 130. Now it's all the way up to plus 143 in some places. That kind of surprised me. Milwaukee's a team that I like, and I like his young arm. But as we see a lot is these guys struggle, and he didn't struggle. So that could tell you two things. Number one, that he's a hell of a pitcher. But I went back and I looked, and as good as he is, and as much as we have wanted to see him pitch in the majors, he's only, according to MLB, he's only the 59th best prospect right now, which is great, but not one of the guys that you would expect to come in and have a lot of success. In fact, the pitcher for Oakland, who they brought up a couple of weeks ago, who they just sent down, was in that same prospect range. So people are getting over their skis on Mizorowski, and I think the guys who bet early have figured that out already. Problem is, as I said, we don't know how long we're going to get there. If it is a game in which there's some rain delays, I got no problem with Taillon not going full 5 innings or whatever. They've got enough other arms in the bullpen where they could have success. The total here is 8. And the wind is blowing really basically to the in and to the right to first base. It's pretty good pretty good numbers here, 9%. The really only win that really should affect anything today is once again in San Francisco. Yesterday it was about 10 miles an hour winds. Now it's 14. So it's not too bad overall everywhere. But in this one, I'm a little perplexed here. So I'm going to sit this one out right now and see what happens.
As I've said on previous shows, I don't like to put money on things that I don't know, X factors and unknown quantities. And right now, Milwaukee starter to me is somewhat of an unknown quantity. So I'm going to focus on Tejon because I do know him. He's been pitching in MLB for years, and we kind of know who he is at this point. He's having a great year this year. I wasn't really fond of him up till this year. When he's with the Pirates, I didn't really like him, but now this year he's really coming on. He's having a good season, really. And he's going deep into the game. So I like two of his props here. Surprisingly, he's not a chronic walker. He's the opposite of a chronic walker. So he's a what's the word? A non-chronic walker. I'm sure there's a better technical term I can come up with. But yeah, and Milwaukee, regarding walks, they're only walking 2.4 per game, and he's only walking 1.2, so that comes to 1.9. So might take a look at his walks under if it's 1.5. Another one I like though is I project his outs to be 19.9. So if you can get a 17.5. Now I don't have DraftKings open right now, and here's a funny thing. I'm in Japan, and DraftKings does not let me access their site from Japan. So I have to use a VPN to access their network. But if I turn my VPN on right now, it'll cut me off the show. So I can't look at DraftKings right now. But if anyone can tell me if their outs prop is, if Jameson Tejon's outs over under is 17.5, I'm going to crush the over 17.5 because I'm pretty sure he's going to finish 6 innings here. Now, sports betting, nothing is sure, nothing is a lock, but we bet on probability, and I'd say there's more than an 80% chance he gets 6 innings in this game. So if it's 17.5, I'll go with Jameson Tejon over 17.5. What's up, Bryan?
I will point out with that rain, that's going to hurt that chances because if there's a rain delay, they won't bring him back.
Yeah, that's true.
With props, if a starting pitcher, if rain interrupts his start and he doesn't come back, you get your money back for most books.
Oh, that's
the books.
I didn't know that.
I've never heard that
before.
I didn't realize that.
Some books do, some books don't.
Yeah, that can't be normal because how do you know if he left the game on a pitch count? How do you know if he left the game with an injury?
Because it started raining and he didn't come back.
Yeah, that's one of those new school, Bryan. That's one of those things that like these books give money back on like bad beats now. I wish that was a thing. I've had plenty.
Might be an unwritten rule. I don't know, but my book gave me my money back the other day when Kachanowicz didn't walk anyone, and he came out in the 5th with 1 out in the 5th, and then he didn't come back, and they gave me my money back. So,
are you able to say what book that is?
DraftKings gave me my money back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those are those types of books.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not supposed to use DraftKings. No, I'm not supposed to use DraftKings in Japan. So.
That doesn't matter. Why can't we say?
Anybody who's betting has got VPNs. We all understand how that goes.
Yeah, like
don't tell them.
That's probably not happening at any book other than like the major books that have like these promo dollars to throw around.
Okay,
that's probably the only place that
we don't have to spend too much time on it. But yeah, okay. If it's rain and some people might not get their money back, so that might be a dangerous prop today. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah, the rain is certainly a factor. If this one does get played, I lean toward the over. I think there might be some runs here. So the thing with Misarowski, he's got a 103-mile-an-hour fastball. It's electric. He has the upside, probably as much upside as any pitching prospect out there right now, but he still needs to develop a secondary pitch that is one he can command. So when Misarowski gets into trouble, like at AAA, I watched most of his AAA starts. When he's gotten into trouble, he just throws 103 down the middle. He gets out of it. At the big league level, you can't really do that. All these guys can handle that. And who's having better at-bats on a regular basis than the Cubs? Who is up there 1-9, having better at-bats than the Chicago Cubs. I would say just about no one right now. The approach, collective approach of the Cubs, 1-9 is tremendous. In Mizorowski's debut, he was awesome. I don't think he gave up a hit, but he still had 4 walks. And that's the thing. He nibbles a little bit. I don't think you can do that against the Cubs. I think the Cubs will make you pay for that somewhere along the line. And I don't really like Tyone. I know he sort of overachieved this year. I think the Brewers could get something off of him. Over 8 feels a little bit low. I had that around 8.5, so I lean toward the over. Go ahead, Brian.
Nothing to do with the game. Just Mizorowski, as you mentioned, he's a hard thrower. Everybody knows that. Is this the worst time to be a major league pitcher if you're a hard thrower? We've seen it all season long. The guys that throw hard have gotten hurt. And it's something to be very much concerned about if you're a Brewers fan. You got this guy who's got a lot of talent whatsoever, more talent than just about anybody out there from a strikeout situation. He only really throws 3 pitches, the slider, the curve, and the four seam. He throws the change 2% of the time. He's got to throw more changes. He's got to do a lot more than that in the major leagues. I'm just afraid he's going to get hurt throwing the way he is. And Milwaukee's got a really good young team. I'd hate to see him get Tommy John surgery and all that. I don't want to wish that on anybody, but he's the rarity this year where everybody else has taken something off of their fastball. He has not at all. And he's always in danger of hurting himself.
Someone in the chat. Oh, Jack Falk, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in as always. He says, is Adam trying to say something about the College World Series with that Coastal polo? Yeah, I'm rooting for them. We had 2 local guys to where I grew up. Will and Zach Remillard play for Coastal Carolina. Zach Remillard made the majors, actually. He was with the White Sox as I think maybe last year. The year before was his last year. It's probably like 31, 32 now. They were on that 2016 Coastal championship team. So I've always kind of, rooted for them. And then I got to go to Coastal Carolina to a basketball game this past year. They were really nice to me, took care of me, put me courtside. So yeah, let's go Coastal Carolina. I don't have time to follow college baseball, but I'll certainly be rooting for them today. And I will try to get that game on. I think it's a 2 p.m. Eastern game. So yes, that is why I put the polo on today, Jack Falk. Go Chanticleers. Great little stadium they've got down there in Conway, South Carolina. And then Mark Hinton. Of course we can cover Phillies Marlins. We'll get right back into it. I got a shout out. Was it Chad? I think it was Chad Picard yesterday. Had like a great sort of breakdown of this game in our comments that really went to plan. I was surprised. I didn't think the Marlins were going to get to Luzardo like they did, but he was all over this game, and it went pretty much the exact way that he mapped out in the comments. Luzardo struggling, maybe the Marlins having some familiarity with him. It was an 8-3 Marlins win. 5-2 Phillies on Monday. This is not the rubber match. This is a 4-game set. So Brian Leonard, Phillies, Marlins. I think I texted you 2 months ago, said, can't wait till the Marlins get Adam Mazur up. He's throwing the ball well at AAA. The time has finally come. He's up, but man, not the easiest to ask here to go against the Phillies. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah. In regards to that comment on YouTube, yes, I agreed. I thought that was a great breakdown. As opposed, I know as we're doing the show here, you can't really do a breakdown when you're in the chat here, but after the show is over, go into the YouTube and leave a comment. And that was a great comment. I thought that was a great breakdown. There's a lot of talented guys that watch this show and we see it. But the problem is there's so many people in the chat. Some things get missed, but yeah, throw something in there and always go back for the guys who watch the show. Go back and look at the comments. Maybe we'll all learn something from one of the people who were watching it. And that was something that I thought was really nice. And I appreciate him doing that. Hopefully we'll see more of it. But yeah, we got Suarez going against Miami. Miami's been pretty good against lefties. They're about 13th in WRC plus against lefties. Mazur's a guy that you'll be able to talk about more than I will here. But yeah, we got Suarez coming in about 160 favorite right now, about a total of 8. But these are two pitchers that have been good in their levels. Ranger Suarez, a lot of reds all over his Statcast page. Comes in 2.32 ERA, 2.43 expected. You're not going to get much better than that. And he's not even the ace of the staff. So they've got a lot of talent in the pitching rotation here in Philadelphia, probably even better that Nola's not in there right now because he's struggled so far this year. But a whip of 1.07. He's not a guy who's going to beat you with his fastball. He's only got the 11th percentile fastball velocity. And really his four seam is his fourth pitch that he uses. He's got 6 pitches and they're all pretty good. Just a lot of red. Barrel percentage 98th percentile, hard hit 98th, ground ball 90th. So he's a guy that gets the double plays. He's a guy that keeps you off balance, does not let you get the best part of the bat on there. His strikeout to walk ratio is 15.8, a little bit lower than what you would expect. He doesn't really walk a lot of guys, 5.9%. Mazur's a guy that I've heard you mention in the past. He got a little bit of play last year. 8 games in the majors, 8 starts for Miami last year. Did not look good. 7.49 ERA, 5.64 expected, 1.81 whip. He's a lot better pitcher than that. And we'll see how it gets. Unfortunately, he's taken on a pretty good hitting Phillies team that's starting to come around. We'll see how this one goes. I would think Philadelphia could put some runs up in this one. We're looking at a total of 8. So you probably got basically a 4.5 on the team total. Let me get a quick look at that. Philadelphia team total, and it's not showing. There it comes. Okay. 4.5, basically even money either way. So if they score 5, you got a winner with Philadelphia, and I think that's not a bad bet here. We'll see how Mazur does. I talk about lefties first time people see them. Righties are different, which is why Mizraski, I think, may not be the same type of pitcher in this game we talked about with the Brewers earlier.
Yeah, I think the Phillies the only way to go here. Yes, the Marlins have been hitting hot. I actually have them ranked 7 while I have the Phillies ranked 8. Bullpens both struggling a little bit, but Miami's bullpen performing a little better at the moment. But Ranger Suarez pitching over his head. I've never liked him, but man, on a curve of 30, I got him ranked 4. My numbers love him. I don't. But if you look at his last 5 starts, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in 5 starts straight. So pretty good stuff. I think the Miami bats are going to start to cool off here. And even though I generally don't like to back Ranger Suarez, I think that would be the only way to go here. However, X factor here because the other pitcher's making his major league debut. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to bet it, but I think the Phillies would be the only way to go, in my opinion.
I Marlins plus 1.5 is how I would want to play this, but I don't like the setup I'm getting here. So I'll talk about Adam Mazur for a second. He comes over from the Padres organization. If you remember, he got kind of thrust in, he got rushed to the big leagues last year because the Padres needed starting pitching. He was in Double-A. He spent like maybe 2 weeks at Triple-A, and they were like, "Oh, we need starters." Similar to this year, everyone was getting hurt. They needed starting pitching, and he was straight up just not ready for the big leagues. He struggled with his command, and he just was not ready to pitch in the majors. He was part of a trade. That's how he ended up in Miami. I forget exactly who the Padres traded for, but he was part of a trade. It might have been a reliever. It's not important. Maybe Bryan remembers, but he ended up he was part of a trade that sent him to the Marlins. Going back to the beginning of the season, we talked about this a lot early in the season. Marlins have really overhauled their player development. Peter Bendix is doing tremendous things there. It's another reason why I think they're so good against they split well. They platoon correctly, in my opinion. They have their advanced metrics are very good. That's why I think they're hitting better than they should be. But Mazur was someone specifically. You watched him in April down at Jacksonville. You were like, oh my God, why is this dude not in the big leagues yet? Tremendous. Just mowing guys down. He didn't have a very good month of May, and that's why I think he kept getting passed over for they called up a couple different guys instead of him. He really wasn't throwing it well in May. I know one time around they gave him a little bit of extra rest. Maybe it was a little fatigue. Last 2 starts at AAA have been solid. He's looked more like the guy that was out there for Jacksonville in April. So I guess I'm cautiously optimistic. That being said, I'm not dying to fade the Phillies off of a loss. So I would probably play Marlins plus 1.5 if you absolutely force me to here. I think that's around even money, but it just wasn't that the setup wasn't great. That being said, I do think Mazur, the last 2 times out, looks more like the guy in April. And that's not someone I would want to lay a price to fade. So, that's kind of how I'm seeing that one. Will be one that I'm absolutely watching for sure. Andy Lang says, hit the like button. The best show on WagerTalk. That's a very humble statement from him. Yeah,
yes, it is.
Considering he's got his own show on WagerTalk.
And also,
that's very nice of him, but he's got a great show of his own.
Yeah, and also please check the replay of this and make a comment and like that too. It helps us, tells WagerTalk you like our show. So we'd appreciate that. I'm gonna make my leg of the parlay this game. I'm gonna take the Miami Marlins first 5 under 1.5 in this game. It's minus 110 at Pinnacle. Shouldn't be much off that on the other books.
All right. You said TB, just to clarify, Marlins team total under 1.5 first 5. That's what you got.
Yes. Suarez is. I usually don't back him, but man, he's been so good. He's only given up 2 runs once in 5 starts. I don't think this is the team he's going to do it against. So that's going to be my leg. My leg. Where's Leg Magazine tonight?
Yeah, Leg Show Magazine. He's that dude's always he's a college basketball guy. He won't miss a college hoop show. He's all.
I'm going to ask him if he can franchise and make a Japan Leg Magazine. I can take some pictures for him.
Listen, we'll hold it down. I can tell you right now that come football season, Andy's show is going to be the place to be. That because they kind of revamped WagerTalk today. Once football's back and all the sports are back, that's going to be your go-to show. But hey, we'll if we can keep that spot warm for the next 2 months, I'd be pretty happy with that as we are fully into baseball. Tokyo Brandon, we're over here going through games. I kind of forgot we had to make a 3-team parlay. So I'm glad that you kicked it off.
Yep. I forgot too. Someone in the chat said, "Hey, when are we going to get the legs out?" So
what is what's the vig you're seeing there for Marlins team total under first 5, 1.5 under 1.5 first 5?
Minus 110 for me. That's Pinnacle.
Sounds right.
First half team total.
Yeah.
Miami is basically 1.5 to the over, minus 120. So you're getting basically plus 100 on the under.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe we'll call it maybe minus 105 because I did see some minus 110.
Sounds good.
There. Yeah. All right. So first leg of the parlay locked in. I have a feeling leg number 2 is going to be locked in here. We're going to go to Chad. After this, can we talk about Red Sox, Mariners? Love the Mariners again today, even with Crochet on the bump. Mariners top 10 against lefties. I think they get a couple off of Crochet tonight. Over to Bryan Leonard. Red Sox, Mariners. This is, I guess, our only day game. One of the only day games today. Surprising for a Wednesday, 4 o'clock start out in Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's got a 108 WRC plus, which comes in 8th on the season against lefties. Crochet against Castillo. You would think that would be a pretty good pitching advantage for Boston. Crochet has been terrific. Castillo, he's getting a little bit older. He's probably their 4th starter at this point, whereas he's been treated as a number 1 the last couple of years. He's faded off a little bit. Crochet's 2.24 ERA, 3.03 expected, 1.03 whip. His strikeout minus walk ratio, 23.3. Tough to go against somebody like that. Everything on his card for his Baseball Savant page is all red. Nothing bad. His worst thing he does, he's in the 59th barrel percentage. That tells you how good he is. Castillo, pitching for Seattle, 3.29 ERA, 4.51 expected. So he's been a little bit lucky so far. He's got a whip of 1.27, which is a little bit high. his strikeout to walk rate, which in the past is, you go back to, what was that, 2020, he had a 30.5 strike rate. He's down to 20% right now. So he's on the back part of his career, but he's still a very good veteran. But his strikeout minus walk rate's down to 12.2. And he's got some blue. In fact, he's got mostly blue on his card. His extension is the first percentile. So batters get a longer look at his pitches. Barrel rate 12%, hard hit rate 19%. Still a good pitching ballpark here in Seattle. And we're looking at total 6.5 here. 6.5 is kind of low, I think. I think, well, let me look at the team total for Boston here. That may be a pretty good deal. Let me look at that. Team totals, we're looking at Boston 3.5, and you can get them over 3.5 to like plus 105, plus 110. That'd be the way I'd look here. I think they could score 4 runs off of Seattle. They got embarrassed yesterday, but until then, Boston's been hitting pretty good. We talked about the trade and everything. I like they've got a lot more flexibility in the DH right now. So I like that. On this game, Boston team total over at plus money is probably the way I would go in this one.
Kind of along the same line as Bryan here. Like when I scanned all the matchups today, the first thing I noted on this game in my notes was Seattle, Boston, first 5 under. And then, I just make notes like that, like my first impression of the matchups. And then I go back and dig deeper and see if it's a viable bet. Castillo has great numbers against these batters. Boston's a little weaker without Devers, but, having great numbers against these batters can be a little deceiving because he might have done it 6 years ago, right? Castillo's one of those guys. He's only 32 years old, but he looks like it seems like he's been in the league for like 90 years, right? He's been here forever. He's only 32 though.
9 seasons.
What's that?
9 seasons in the majors.
Yeah, it seems like 90 though, because he's been there it seems like he pitched when Ichiro was on the team. But anyway, he just looks and seems very old for a 32-year-old. Crochet's a young guy, big guy, doing good this season. He had 1 blow up against the Yankees. Aside from that, it's been really solid. I kind of like the first 5 under 3.5 here. I mean, even if Crochet gives up a run, you think Boston's gonna get 3 runs on Castillo in 5 innings? I don't think so. But looking at Castillo's past few starts, he's been holding it down okay. He generally does give up 2 earned runs almost every time out, though. Like his last starts, 2, 4, 0, 3, 0, 1, 5. So a little up and down there. He could get tagged, or he could be great, or he could give up 2. Kind of an X factor there. Maybe Bryan's right. Looking at Boston might be the way to go, because you kind of don't know what you're going to get from Castillo.
Sorry, Chad. I see. I'm on the other side here. I love the Red Sox in this spot. Well, if I love the Red Sox, I would have already bet it. I got to be honest though. It's a good chance I had this as a client play. It's one that I'm giving a lot of thought to. So, couple things here. I just want to mention, like, Jerry Davis makes I guess a kind of good point. Now, this is a 1:00 local start. It's not a 4 p.m. local. It's a day game for the Mariners, right? So it's 1:00 local, 4:00 Eastern. It is kind of an abnormal time for them, but like, it'll be interesting to see. Do they have the roof open, right? Like, I know like shadows could creep in, but they also have a roof on that stadium. So I really don't know if that makes much of a difference. If anything, if there's weird shadows, it's going to help pitching probably. I wouldn't want to be up there against Garrett Crochet under any circumstances, but I certainly wouldn't want to be up there against Garrett Crochet if I can't see the ball grade either. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but I just listen. Crochet is, like, as Bryan said, he's elite. He is the Mariners. A lot of their offense is still predicated on hitting the long ball. He's not exactly an easy pitcher to take deep, although he has given up some homers in recent starts. That's one thing that I was very interested to see. Last 5 starts, he has given up a couple of home runs, which I guess is a concern. I don't think the Red Sox have much trouble with Luis Castillo. That's where I think the edge is here. I don't think that this Red Sox lineup should be looked at as like a significant downgrade right now without Devers, because remember, they had to make room somewhere, right? So now you've got the Roman Anthony's, Mayer, like those guys are going to play. Eventually you'll have Wilyer Abreu, who played at Worcester last night. He's coming back soon. So Red Sox lineup is fine. I think the market a little bit, and I'll see if you guys agree. I feel like they've discounted the Red Sox a little bit because of the trade. The numbers the last few days on the Red Sox, that every single day has been value basically, and now you're getting Crochet minus what it's going down. It's like minus 110. How could you pass that up? Luis Castillo's nothing at this point. Not nothing, but he certainly isn't the guy that was like an ace. Red Sox is my parlay league.
Boston's bats are a little cold. That's probably what the books are looking at. I got them ranked 19 out of 30 right now in current forms. That might be what they're looking at, plus the Devers trade.
Brian Leonard, what's the money line on the Red Sox? That's my parlay league right here.
Okay. Looks like anywhere from 111 to 120. I'm seeing maybe 115, probably about the and then 6.5 to the over on the total.
Yep. We'll call it minus 115. Red Sox bullpen is very underrated in my opinion. They've been really good, and I think they don't get enough credit because the Red Sox were losing games, mid for most of May. But though it wasn't the bullpen's fault, they were losing close games. I actually think the Red Sox, yes, they got shut out 8-0 yesterday. I think their offense has been collectively better since the calendar flipped to June. Even just getting timely hits in that Yankee series, got the lead early, never looked back on Monday night. So yeah, whatever, get shut out 8-0. I think they bounce back today. And I think there's a big edge with Crochet over Castillo. So Red Sox for me.
I do want to point out, with all the talk about Devers, he clogs up the base paths. You saw that yesterday. He was on base, and they hit a double, and he couldn't only make it to third base. Boston's got a lot of speed on that team. They're going to be able to run. I expect Boston to steal more bases, and without that clogging up the base paths, I think they score more runs.
If Crochet's outs recorded, if you can find Crochet's outs recorded prop at 17, an over would be a decent play because he usually goes over, and they leave him in like 97, 107, 112, 108. I mean, they're letting him throw his arm off. So outs over. If it's 18.5, I'd lay off.
Listen, we got to get back to dudes going out there as starting pitchers, going 115, 120 if they have to.
I agree.
That's how baseball used to be. You're the ace. You're getting paid as the elite ace of the staff. You got to be able to go and give your team 100 pitches every time out. So
I agree.
Yeah, like I expect Crochet to be out there with the game on the line even if he's at 100 pitches. And as Slick Vic said, Crochet nasty as hell. I agree.
Yeah, but then there's guys like Cal Quantrill who once he gets to 70, they take him out of the game. So
Cal Quantrill's lucky to be in the majors, though. That's not.
I know, but they take him out at 70 pitches, and Kachanowicz, that guy, they take him out at like 65, 70 pitches. But Crochet, they'll leave him in. Wheeler, Crochet, there's certain guys they'll let him get to 100, and there's certain guys they absolutely will not let him get to 100. So take note of that, guys.
Yeah, you prove that, and once you can prove that you can go the distance, they're going to ride you like a horse.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Next game.
You want me to give out my leg of the parlay here, so you've got a little bit of time to calculate it?
Absolutely.
I was going to say, let's go. Go. We'll go your parlay leg, and then I've got one more that we can talk about to close it up. Go ahead.
Once again, we talked about it earlier, and I think we all came to agreement on it. I'm not a kind of guy who plays that kind of favorites normally, but I think there's a ton of value here with the Yankees. Kachanowicz and Yarborough. Angels do not hit lefties, and Yarborough's a guy that keeps everybody off balance. And the Yankees have been embarrassed, and you get them at home being embarrassed. Yes, I understand their bats are cold right now, but all it takes is a couple big swings, and they're back at it. Give me the Yankees on the money line. Goes anywhere from minus 207 to minus 225. I'll even take minus 218. Let's say. On this
I was going to say 215 for the parlay. I think.
Okay, and TB did it with San Francisco the other day. It worked out well. Let's lay it with the Yankees.
All right. I will read the parlay off after. We got to hit one more game. Surprisingly, there's a lot of chatter about this game. And I know, Brian, you had mentioned this right before we came on air. Let's talk Rockies Nats. How could we leave that one out of today's great slate? Rockies Nationals. Steve Duke says Nats suck. That's the end. Tough to argue with that at this point. They look awful lately. How are you seeing this one, Brian?
What I found in this one, and I mentioned it earlier, we have got two of the biggest streaks in Major League Baseball. You've got the Washington Nationals, who have lost 10 straight games as a sizable favorite to a Colorado team who is 1-19 on the season versus lefties. This is what we watch baseball for. It's Colorado's hitting pretty well lately. I don't know what it is. They brought Toglia back up yesterday. He gets 3 hits. I think he had 3 hits the first 2 months of the season when they had him up. Marquez on the mound for Colorado, 6.62 ERA, expected 4.82, 1.66 whip. In fact, last year, and he only pitched 4 innings. I'll just ignore that. But he hasn't had good whip since 2023 when he was healthy, 1.10 at that time. That's the last thing that comes back when you have major surgery on your arm is the control, and he's struggled with it all year long. He's a guy with an extension in the 2nd percentile, strikeout rate in the 4th percentile, expected batting average in the 7th percentile. There'll be some runs scored against him today, even with this Washington team who is really struggling. Mitchell Parker, he looked like a decent pitcher last year. This year, he hasn't built on that. He comes in with a 4.84 ERA, 4.94 expected, 1.35 whip. The only thing he does well is his extension, 83rd percentile. Everything else is poor. 7th percentile in hard hit rate, 6th in strikeout rate, 14th in expected ERA. Should be a lot of runs scored in this one. We're looking at a total in this of 9 to the over, -120. I talked about it, I believe, 2 games ago when teams play or in a good division with a lot of good pitching, and they get to play teams that don't have that good pitching. We see a lot of offense. We've seen it the last 2 days. I look for more of the same. I prefer the over in this game.
So looking at these teams, how they match up, man, the Rockies are on a tear. I have them ranked number 3 in runs scored in the last, in all of Major League Baseball, including current form. They're just ripping it. The Nationals rank 23rd or worse in every single category that I rank. Now, the Nationals were a darling team for me. I made a lot of money on them at the beginning of the season, cashing their team totals because the books were sliding them so much when they were actually hitting well. I mean, Wood, Abrams, they got players, they shouldn't be this bad, in my opinion. Their pitching is a problem and they're always giving up runs, but man, they should be producing more runs than this, but they're in a slump. This is why baseball is a marathon, because teams get hot, they get cold, there could be a flu going around in the clubhouse that we don't know about. A lot of things happen that we don't hear about. So why are the Nationals so bad right now? I don't know, but they should be hitting better than this. And the Rockies should not be hitting this well. I'm probably going to lay off this game. If I was going to do it, probably the only way I'd go is take the number 3 hitting team in MLB against the 28th ranked bullpen and the 27th ranked pitcher. But I just looked at the team total right now, 4.5. Guys, go back to last week. Nobody in their right mind would bet the Rockies to score 5 runs in a game last week. And now suddenly we're going to call them, the Bronx Bombers from 1927. I don't think so. Teams don't morph overnight. Yes, they're hitting well right now, but I'm going to ground myself back to last week and say the Rockies, no way. Yeah, if I was going to do anything, it'd be Rockies team total, but there ain't no way I'm betting the worst team in MLB history to score 5 runs today.
They probably
What
scored.
do you think, Brian? Brian's laughing.
They've got, if you take a look at WRC Plus, they're dead last with a 58.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I understand that. Maybe we'll get more runs out of Washington today in that one. But, yeah, you've got to hold your nose if you're going to play Colorado's offense to score over. It's sort of like just the opposite of what the Yankees The Yankees got a great offense or slumping. Colorado's got terrible offense. They're playing well.
Yep.
I can't wait for Colorado to go on the road and play good pitchers. That way we can get back to betting against Colorado on the road. Road Rockies is one of the easiest ways to make money.
Colorado against Sale or someone like that. Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's hard for me to believe there's not at least 10 runs in this game. 10 the first night. I know it kind of got there via extra innings, but still, or I'm sorry, in the ninth, but still got 10 runs the first night, 16 the last night. Listen, both of these organizations have no direction. They call guys up, they put them back. There's just it's a complete mess all across the board. With Marquez, that's the thing. Like, Marquez, right-handed pitching, the Nats should be. They called Dalen Lyle back up. He hit a bomb, first major league homer the other day. The Nats set up very strong against right-handed pitching. Still, they're going to have much better splits against right-handed pitching. So they get one in Marquez that has an ERA that's like over 6 right now. He's going to give up runs. I don't really trust Mitchell Parker. I mean, he's probably going to come out and give something up. Both teams have issues in the bullpen. Neither team has much depth. And then it's like the Rockies. You call up Agnos, he gets cooking for a while. He has a bad outing. He gets sent back down. It's just like there's just no organization at all with either of these two teams. I actually don't see how both these teams survive 9 innings without a crooked number or two here and there. I was surprised it was only 9. I'm not a good totals handicapper. I almost never play them. But I had a couple good calls on totals yesterday. Reds Twins went over. Dodgers Padres went over, both pretty easily. Kind of feels like Dodgers Padres, where it's like it's only 9. I feel like there's 15 runs in this game. Here, cue up the 2-1 final pitcher's duel, but still, I think there's going to be some runs in this game.
At least 9.
Yeah, and 9 is kind of a key number with totals. You both get to 4, and you're free rolling basically. So. Anyway,
all right, let's have parlay.
I like to look at it as an inning by inning. If it's 9, 1 run per inning doesn't seem like a stretch.
Yeah.
But when you get up to like 10, 11, it's like you got to score more than 1 run an inning. That seems like a stretch. But yeah, these.
All right, parlay time. We got to get
horrible.
out. We got to get out of here. It's 10:02.
Oh,
Parlay of the day plus 435. Tokyo Brandon. Marlins team total under 1.5 for the first 5. I'm on Red Sox minus 115. Bryan Leonard on Yankees money line minus 215. That comes out to be right around 4 plus 430 plus 440 odds, depending on your book. Obviously, shop those around. You can always probably find better prices on parlays, but right around that 4.3 to 4.4 to 1 price range. Marlins team total under first 5, under 1.5. Red Sox money line for the full game. Yankees money line for the full game. Appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, more total basis. Good luck today. Cash all your tickets. And I'll be on with Andy Lang. So make sure you're tuning on into WagerTalk today at noon. I'll be on to talk some MLB with Andy Lang and the crew. See you guys tomorrow.